It's in bedroom.
Welcome to the second Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast of the day, guys. Apologies for the misunderstanding over the time. Genuinely thought it was going to be 8:30 tonight. I don't know why I thought 8:30. I just thought that's what I'd scheduled it for. But it was 7:30, so I reorganised it till 8. So obviously, if you join or if you're joining late, not a problem at all. It's my fault anyway. Yeah, great. All right, Owen Caleb, good. CGI says you need a quadruple euro lotto. Yeah, absolutely. We could do with a lottery winner of £200-300 million, putting a little bit of money into Rangers. Absolutely, 100% we could do with that. Right, so look, let's before we get on to tonight's topics, we're going to talk a little bit of transfer news. We're going to talk a little bit of Sam Lammers as well. I think there's a lot going on around Sam at this moment in time and around the club. As regards wage earners and moving players on, we need to look at that too. We're also going to look a little bit as well about Thomas Gedalmes, news on him as well, and the fact that Rangers have missed out on Gedalmes as well now. We've got some news on that. We're also going to talk a little bit of Joan Jordan, whatever he's called, the Spanish player as well. But before we do that, just a few heads ups ahead of this week. All right, Stephen, how you doing? Hey, Blue Nose, how you doing? Good to see everyone. Good to see you. So what's coming up this week? Well, this week we have got preview podcast going out on Friday night. That's at 8:35 on the channel. That's the Man United Rangers preview of the game on Saturday. We've then got the live stream as well of the game, live watch along Saturday 3:45 for a 4 o'clock kickoff. Sunday we've got the final word at 8 o'clock, and we'll look back on the week in Rangers news and also look back at the game as well. We've also got a reaction pod as well on Saturday night coming up. So an awful lot coming up this week. Be better buying the club if you had the big Euro Millions win. Put it into fan ownership, says Smoke. Yeah, that was really sad there, Blue Nose, seeing that Cole McKinnon's dad passed away. 60k a week, says Sevilla may accept us paying over 30k. And Random Madness says that Man United will probably put 5 past us. Right, guys, let's start off with some discussion about moving players on. Now, one of the big central issues for Rangers at this moment in time is moving players on. And the reason why we're having a lot of difficulties at this moment in time moving players on is because of the fact that we are paying these players an awful lot of money at this phase. It all goes to show that the management of this club, the contract management of the club, the whole player recruitment side of the game, the whole player recruitment side of the business was absolutely screwed by somebody, probably Ross Wilson and the football. We've also got a poll running, guys. Please obviously look at that. So this is what I've now. I don't know how this is basically. I've gone through a few different websites to find this out, but this is what is being reported as the per week salary of some of our players. So per week, Connor Goldson takes home £37,000 a week. James Tavernier, £30,000 a week. Ben Davis, £27,000 a week. Cyril Dessers, £27,000 a week. I think it's quite telling that of those 4 players who are the highest wage earners at the club are all 4 players that fans would not be worried about seeing the back of going forward. The fact that Ben Davis is the joint 3rd highest paid player at the club, I think does really show that the management of this club and the contract management of this club has been very, very poor over the years. Following on from that, Danilo is on £26,000 a week, Butland on £25,000 a week, Todd Cartman on £22,000 a week, and Tom Lawrence also on £22,000 a week. That is the wage earnings for this club. And that is why at this moment in time, we are having massive issues with moving some of these players along. because of the fact that if you look at a lot of these players, if they exit and it's not Saudi they are going to go to with some of these players, they're going to have to take substantial wage cuts. The issue is, of course, that players don't want to take those massive wage cuts. You don't want to lose a substantial portion of your wage, given that football, and I'm not saying that for 1 minute it is right that footballers should be earning that week. I think it's absolutely wholly immoral that footballers earn that amount of money per week. I really genuinely do. I mean, for me, it's absolutely ridiculous, for that amount of week. I mean, Scott B says here, £27,000 a week for Ben Davis. Dear God. CJNI says, trying to get the comments up, but the comments are not coming up at the moment. Do apologise. I think the board is trying to take this club for as much as they can. Scott B says that was the midget Wilson, obviously Ross Wilson, who is now obviously screwing Nottingham Forest over. But yeah, I mean, it is just a situation where these players are on such massive wages that it is really hard to move them along. Love seeing all the troops in the interactive chat. Absolutely fantastic. Says, yeah, Gross Scott 100% agree. Butland deserves to be the highest paid. I mean, if you were looking at paying players on their performance, yes, Jack Butland is the best player. So therefore does deserve the most money, but he's only on 25 grand a week, 12 grand a week less than Connor Goldson. Davis was highly rated Liverpool. He was never coming for a pittance. Very true. Lawrence is overpaid. 100% agreed. So as John says here, Blue Nose John says the level of these wages is scandalous for mediocrity. Janet McFarlane says in the live chat, that's a sick amount of money to be paying only half decent players. No wonder we can't afford anyone. Aldo says in the live chat here, he says, imagine getting paid thousands because you're shit at your job. Yeah, interesting take there, Aldo. What happened to the old bonus system for scoring? And that's still in place, mate. That's still in place. Yes, William, I do realise that a player has a career of about 10 years. Still not a reason to pay crap players high wages. That is the issue we've got here. These guys are getting paid massive wages for being pretty poor. I mean, Connor Goldson, to say that we paid him 37 grand a week when we were giving him a new contract when he hadn't got any competition for his signature is just utterly ludicrous. So for me, it's a position where we are really stuck on top of the high wages zone. Yeah, you get bonuses, goals. Yeah, your bonuses kick in above your wages. So there'll be players getting, not only will they be getting their basic wage per week, they'll be getting goal bonuses, win bonuses, whatever other bonuses they've got in their contract. They are on top of your weekly wage. So your weekly wage is one thing, but your bonus is, is basically what it is on what is on top of their wage. So you might find that Tav's on 30 grand a week, but he may get 2 grand a goal or a grand a goal. That's a lot of money that we are paying out to these players. I don't know. None of these websites, none of these sites, none of the club accounts will list bonuses. It won't be listed there. The Capology, which is one of the top websites for finding out pay, is knowing that is based on their weekly wage, their basic weekly wage. CJNI says, I don't even think the Saudis are stupid enough to top our wages for some of our players. No wonder Tav scores so much knowing that Big Donkey Goldson is on more than him. I would be happy to stand offside and sky the ball over the bar for 27k a week, says Chris. Lol, love that. That's quite a funny comment there. I do like that comment. You could be appearance bonuses in there. I don't know. It's a big one. How do we go from winning the league unbeaten and reaching the final of Europa League to not winning anything of importance with almost the same players? Good shout, mate. A very positive, very good shout, Random. Young players in the way pay lowish wages. Play them. Play Nsiala. Play Hefte. Play Barron. Play Igman. Like we do with Dio. Yeah, I agree. Look, these guys are on substantially less wages than any of these people, and their wages aren't on Capology yet. They aren't on any of the sites yet. I mean, this is going off what their wages were last season. So, this is the situation we are currently in with this club, and why we are having difficulties moving these players on, because part of their negotiation of any transfer will not just be what clubs are prepared to pay for them, and meeting Rangers' valuation on said player. that once the valuation has been met, once Rangers are happy that a club has come in and bid a substantial amount, which is agreeable to Rangers for that player then has to sit down with his agent and with the buying club and agree a contract. Now, if you've got a situation like Connor Goldson, for example, taking this as an example, I mean, this may be an absolute load of rubbish. I don't know. But it's been what has been reported in a number of sources is that Birmingham City were interested in buying Connor Goldson. But Birmingham City's highest wage earner is on £20,000 a week. They are a League One team next season, so will not be paying massive wages to players. Now, if Connor Goldson moves to Birmingham, he will not be paid £37,000 a week. He won't be paid anywhere near £37,000 a week. He'd be paid somewhere in the region of, say, £20,000 a week. Now, is he prepared to take half a pay cut to go down to £17,500–£18,000 a week? Is he prepared to go down to £20,000 a week and take a £17,000 pay cut? Probably not. So that's the situation we are currently in. It's not just a simple situation where Rangers accept a bid for a player, we move that player on, we then, we've generated that amount of money into the club. It isn't as simple as that. It is very much a case where we need the player to agree to move. We need the player to agree a contract. And if he can't agree a contract and he can't agree a deal with the buying club, he's going to come back to Rangers. That's the way it's going to be. See, Lawrence Shankland has scored for Hearts against Spurs. Remember how he stupidly wanted Goldie to stay. We offered him top dollar, even though no one wanted him. Stupidity from the board. And I think this is the part of the issue, guys, is it's down to some bad decision-making on the behalf of the board. And not just Ross Wilson, not just Stuart Robertson, not just Douglas Park, but John Bennett was part of the board and signed off on these deals. Park Jr. was part of the board, signed off. Today, we are stuck with these players because of the fact that we are paying exceptionally high wages to these players. The fact we have the highest wage bill in Scotland. That when we played PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League qualifiers last season, they had a lower wage budget than Rangers. That's right. PSV's wage budget was lower than Rangers. Yet they absolutely took us to the cleaners. Right. So let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Sam Lammers, shall we? So Sam Lammers, I've got a poll running in the live chat at the moment. I'll give him a chance. At the moment, 24% say give him a chance, and 8% say send him out on loan again. Now, when Lammers returned from Utrecht, he came back with a very high, he'd done very well indeed. Okay. He'd done very well indeed. In terms of his appearances, he'd made 20 appearances for Utrecht, scored 11 goals and 3 assists. So he'd had 14 goal contributions in 20 games, which is an excellent return for a player. And there was a lot of talk at the time, and it was on other podcasts like Rangers Review, for example, where they said that if we were going to be buying Sam Lammers at this stage, if it was us going to Holland to buy a player with 14 goal contributions in 20, you'd be looking at £5–6 million to sign the player. But now, obviously, we're trying to move him on. We paid £3.5 million for him. I think the original desire was to get our money back for him. I think when he first went to Utrecht, I think if you'd said, here's £1 million for Sam Lammers, we probably would have all gone, yeah, let's take it. We'll have it. Just take him, get rid. But after that performance, when he was on loan, how he was one of the best players in the Eredivisie at the end of last season, there was a situation there where we were starting to think, well, actually, you know what, we can make our money back on him. We could even make a profit on him. That is where we're at now. Let's have a quick look at some comments before we move on before we carry on talking about Lammers. We have to give him a chance. Other clubs can't afford his wages, so it seems. I only put loan because I don't think we can sell him. Blue Nose, John, I don't think people will want Clement gone. I think they will go for the board first. I'm really hoping that is the case, RFC 72. Clement needs to be backed. No one thing, Tav and Goldson stay defence. We leak goals, plenty of mistakes, especially v Celtic. Yes, PSV have young, talented mix with some experience, and I think that's what we were wanting to do, Scott. I think that was how Coppen is wanting to take this club down the PSV route. Blue Nose John Board have to go first for me before Clement gets the BAME. Yeah, I don't know why the Wi-Fi keeps dipping out. It's shit in this house. Nicolas says, I agree, smoke. And Blue Nose says, here, we know what we're like. We won't tolerate so much before it turns toxic. And I think that is the biggest worry for me, is that it will turn toxic very quickly at Ibrox if things start going wrong. So Sam Lammers, apparently a bid of 2.5 million from Twente was accepted. That is the report. However, Sam Lammers refused the move. This is the report. I don't know how true this is. This is what has been reported in a number of sources. It was reported that he turned down the chance to join Twente, who are in the qualifiers for the Champions League next season, because he didn't want to take a cut on his weekly wage. Now, reports have Lammers earning anything between £20,000 and £22,000 a week at Rangers. It was reported that Twente were only prepared to pay him between £10,500 and £11,000 a week, and he wasn't prepared to take that pay cut, so therefore won't move to Twente because of that. Utrecht could afford the transfer fee, apparently, of 3 million, but could not afford his wages. As well as that, obviously, we've seen that AZ Alkmaar have gone for Troy Parrott from Tottenham, again, because the wages are lower than what we are paying Sam Lammers. So it appears that the whole situation around Lammers at this moment in time is very complicated. That because he is getting such a high wage, moving him on is proving to be a really difficult situation. Now, while Eredivisie clubs can quite clearly see the benefits of getting Lammers, because he is a very good player in the Eredivisie. He's not a good player in Serie A, and he's not a good player in the Bundesliga, and he's not a good player in Scotland. But in the Eredivisie, he is a good player. He's got a good track record of scoring goals, creating goals in the Eredivisie. If you go back to his time with young PSV, if you go back to his time with Heerenveen, he really did, do very well indeed. So look, I think, he is obviously quite good there. Random Madness says, can't blame him for not wanting to take a 50% wage drop. No one would do that. Agreed. I wouldn't. Someone, as much as I hate my job, if someone came to me and said, "Tell you what, come work for us instead for half your salary," I'd say, "Fuck off, not happening." Rangers board are costing us season after season, not giving a toss about the fans. I agree, Janet. Rangers board are costing us. So Lammers is in a difficult situation now. When he first came back from Holland and he came back to Scotland, talk was that we could get 3.5, 4, even £5 million for him. We could make a big profit on him. And because of that, there was a hope that we could get, that money, and we could bring it in. We could use that. We could use that to help build a squad. Now it appears that that's not an option. Now this is down to, I think, some really bad decisions that have been made on behalf of the football club. So when he first came back from Holland, we stuck him straight in the B team. We stuck him in, effectively doing the old, stick him in the reserves. We don't want him anymore. And I think this has done two things for me. Number one, it's absolutely smashed any confidence that he did have coming back to the club, so that he would have come back on a high, wouldn't he? He would have come back, having scored 11 goals, playing really well, feeling like the old player he used to be when he played in Holland. We've clearly taken that, pulled all the wind out of his sails, stuck him in the B team, and absolutely destroyed any confidence he's got. The second thing is, the moment you do that, you say to clubs around Holland and around the world, we don't want this player anymore. We want rid of this player. This is not a player I want in my club anymore, which automatically makes them go, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go in with low offers, because you've just made it very clear to me you don't want this player. So I'm not going to give you 4 million or 5 million or even 3.5 million for him. I'm going to come in with 2.5, 2 million, 1 million, because at the end of the day, you're telling me you don't want this player. So we've automatically made some very bad decisions on Sam Lammers, which has caused to lowball offers, which has caused his confidence being smashed. Now, I don't know if any of you heard about the game that was played Tuesday Tuesday behind closed doors at Ockenhowie. Sam Lammers played in that and apparently was shit. Didn't play very well at all. Missed chances, put the ball over the bar, passed it back to the keeper, didn't look good at all. So automatically, you can see the lad's confidence has gone. Any confidence this lad had has disappeared now. So number one, we're getting rid of him is going to be very hard to do. Number two, any confidence he would have had that we could have used has disappeared now. So Blue Nose John says, it annoyed me last season that both Beale and PC didn't play Lammers as a number 9, which is obviously something that neither of them want to do. Obviously, both of them kind of saw something in him that said to them that he wasn't a 9. We could have took 1 million from 20 and they could have paid him 20k that he wants. Well, I don't think 20 can afford that, mate. It's football. Here we go. Football, though, Owen, you must want to play short career. Yeah. Williams says here, I can get the comment up. Lammers. Here we go. Lammers would have come back to the club confidence sky high. Clement has made a complete blunder by dropping him to the B team. Management is shocking, which is kind of what I touched on. We did sign him as a 10, which does seem a little bit bizarre, given the fact that he is obviously better as a 9 because that's where he was used by Utrecht. Take 2 million for him. That's 2 million towards a player that can actually play football. Jordan, I'd take any money at the moment towards him. I really genuinely would. This club is fucking horrendous. True. We ought to play Lammers. We bought Lammers to play 4-4-2 with Beale. I think he then changed the system because we were poor. Possible. I think the situation is that Lammers is kind of in a very much a vicious circle now. The fact that he doesn't want to take a wage cut. Rangers are willing to sell him, but if we can't get shot of him, the issue is that we're stuck with him now. We're stuck with paying him £22,000 a week. Now, if the transfer window ends and Sam Lammers is still here, are we going to just go, well, there's the reserve Sam, there's the B team Sam, let's just piss off until January and we'll try and get rid of you in January. But at which time we're still smashing out 22 grand a week or 20 grand a week, depending on where you read, on a player we don't want. So I think we've made two huge errors there. One, smashing his confidence, and one, putting him in the B team, because like I said, that automatically sends a message to teams that you don't want a player. It would have been a far cleverer for me to do what we've done with Dessers, which is keep him in the A team, bring him back in, take him on the pre-season tour to Holland, give him some minutes here and there, because 10 teams are going to go, well, actually, hang on, they're playing him with the A team still, so there's maybe a future there. So if we really want him, we're going to have to go in with a decent bid. So that's the problem we've got, guys. That is a big problem. Lammers will be here for another year or two. Lammers will be our Bobo Balde for 4 years, says Stuart. That's a blast from the past, isn't there, for Celtic? FC 20, top earnings on 9k per week. How the fuck do we end up paying such high wages? Agreed. Chris. Now, Lammers would get more goals than Cantwell, says Nicolas. I think it depends on Nicolas, how you play him and how you use him. 100 people watching, guys. Please smash that like. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Remember, you can also support the channel with a super sticker or with super chat, guys. We've got a few like that. We have. And I think, like I said at the start of the pod, when I ran through some of the wages the guys are on at the club, moving them on is really hard. William says the Dutch assistant came in. He should be working with Lammers to get a tune out of him. That's a good shout, William. That is a strong possibility. Hopefully that's something we can do. And if we end up having to keep Lammers, hopefully that's something we can do. Bisgrove and Bennett sang his wages clueless. This is the issue. It's not just them, Scott. It's everyone, isn't it? It was Wilson, it was Stuart Robertson, it was Douglas Park, it was John Bennett, it was James Bisgrove, it was Ross Wilson. All these people have sanctioned these massive wages to these players who are then not justifying these wages. Tam says, I still think Lammers could come good. Good. Thank you, Caleb, for still be listening. Sell Lammers for 2 million to Utrecht. Us 1 million towards his wages if they were willing to pay 3 million. The reason we pay higher wages is because nobody wants to play in Scotland unless they get paid handsomely. Good shout. The problem isn't just Lammers, it's Tav, Goldson, Wright, Tondo, Dessers, the list goes on and fucking on. True. The list is quite long, isn't it, in our club in terms of players. Okay, so look, there's we all know that at this moment in time, as Big Phil has said, that we cannot bring in players unless we sell. That's the situation, okay? So we know we can't sign anybody unless we sell a player. Two reasons for that. One, there's no money there to buy players. And two, the squad is hideously bloated and the squad needs to be trimmed. When you've got a squad of 30 with a massive wage bill like we have, you do need to reduce your squad size. You can't just keep loading players on the wage bill. That is financial suicide. So whilst I see the need to cut the squad, I see the need to reduce the wage bill. I see all that. 100% understand that is an absolute must. What is the worry, though, is the fact that the purchases that we're going to make have to be funded through player sales. This is what I'm getting at. I think this is the point some people have missed with what I've been saying. Okay, I'm not saying we should be just buying players and buying players and buying players for buying players' sake and ending up with a squad of 35, 40, whatever. What I am saying is that I get the squad needs to be cut. I get the wage bill needs to be come down. Okay, I get that. I understand that. What is the irritant here is not that, because that is understandable. That is perfectly reasonable. That is not a stupid thing. That makes perfect business sense. It's like any business. If you've got enough staff or you've got too many staff, even if those staff are shit, you don't go and start employing new staff. That makes no business sense. You have to get rid of your staff first before you bring in new staff. I understand. What my gripe with this board is that all the money it seems that we're going to spend has to come from selling players and freeing up wages, that they're not funding this themselves. They are not putting their hand in their pockets. They are not funding this club, that they're treating fans as mugs. They're expecting 75, 80 pound per home top, 75, 80 pound per away top. They're expecting season ticket money. They're expecting merchandise money. And I'm as guilty as anybody of spending money. This month I've spent £200. Actually, no, strike that. £280 on Rangers merchandise this month. £280 on Rangers merchandise. All that money goes into the board's pocket. What is frustrating, like I said, is I'm not saying for a minute, just sign players and add them to what we've got. I get we've got to sell. What is frustrating is the fact that the money we've got has to come from selling what we've got. And this club is becoming the Borussia Dortmund of Scottish football. We are very quickly turning into Dortmund. Celtic are becoming Bayern Munich. We are becoming Borussia Dortmund. And that is not how it should be in this country. Random madness, that doesn't matter. If we play them in a competitive game, it would be pretty even, which means they're getting much more bang for their buck. What else have we got here? Rangers on Tour says, it's not about transfers cost, it's getting the wage bill down. Need to cut the wage bill by 30%, which is what I've just said, Rangers on Tour. I agree with you 100%. It's about getting the wage bill down. But what I'm saying is it's frustrating that the board are not funding any of the player acquisition, that they are relying solely on A, the fans, and B, selling players and raising money. That is my frustration. That is my frustration with this. Players will be signed. I don't know what everybody is worrying about. Says William. Once again, Michael Beale's legacy has come back to hurt us. He's the one who bought Lammers. Scott says, we know the players will be signed, but we have to sell. It's hard to sell. William, some people love to moan. So, Nicholas and William, I'm going to challenge you on this. I'm going to challenge you. Do you think that Rangers board, that John Bennett and Douglas Park Jr., or whatever he's called, are running this club well? So William and Nicholas, you appear to be having a go at me and saying I'm just moaning, which I'm not. I'm trying to make points here. Do you think that this club is being well run at this moment in time? That's my question to you. A few people are going to be surprised and are looking to make things seem worse than they are. We have good academy players. Let's hope we do. Did you hear about Kevin Kyle? He was offered £12,000 per week and said he could have got even more in the third division. William, we have just signed 6 players, but we've also let 6 players go. So it's continuing that trend, and that money that has come to sign Igman, to sign Barron, to sign Cortez has come from saving wages and has come from the money we've got raised through McCrory's sale, for the wages from Barisic, the wages from Lundstrom, the wages from Ruth. That's where the money's coming from. It's not coming from the board. It's coming out of the fans' pockets. It's coming out of the sale of players. And that is my frustration. That is my frustration. 20 aren't a top team in the league. When we have a good squad, we should be aiming to quarterfinals of European football every year. 20 aren't anywhere near as big as us. True, they're not. Yeah, Caleb says goalkeeper's top was £110. I'm 12 away, top home was £80, even for small people. That's ridiculous. We will sign, but who? I would only buy 3 experienced players or loans with some more young players coming in. We've got a combination of smokes. I think we can offload 2 or 3 and bring in some experienced pros. Absolutely. CJ says here, that's the thing. We're getting charged Premier League prices for a championship team. Okay, that's my point. Random madness, you're missing the point with this squad. We don't manage to finish top 3 in the Eredivisie. They did paying under half what we do in wages. Blue Nose says it's €110 for a Rangers shirt for me. I'm not paying any of that anymore. I've got 2 daughters to look after. Rangers are a PLC. They have rules that have to be followed. True. But like I said to you, Nicholas, question is, yeah, I've just read your last comment. Do you think that they're running the club well? I've just read your last comment. That doesn't answer my question. Do you think that John Bennett, that Park Jr. are running this club well? It's a simple question. It's a yes or no answer. Are they running this club well? That's what I want to know. And I have read your last comment, Nicholas. I have read your last comment. That was a one-off. We qualify for Europe literally every season. Only 2 ways to raise major funds. Board members to sell their shares to someone, or a business will pump money in, or we have a deal for stadium naming rights would be a good thing to do. And we had a vote on that the other day, didn't we? That we should have some stadium naming rights. Guys, keeping hold of the things is difficult to do, keeping hold of this. So it's up to the board to put their hand in the muck. But no, it's not just up to that. William, you've completely missed the point yet again, is what I'm saying. Is that what? Yes, player sales, fan merchandise sales form part of any club's budget. But if you look at all the successful clubs, it is not just about using the prize money. It is not just about using the player sales money. It is about using money from board members to actually buy players. If you buy a football club, you should expect to have to spend money to make that club bigger. William, I think you completely. So, right, Nicholas says that, here we go. Nicholas, this is Nicholas's answer to my question. Nicholas in the live chat says, yes, he thinks that John Bennett and Park Jr. are running this club well. Nicholas, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think you're speaking utter rubbish. They're doing the worst job I've ever seen. I think Celtic's board are doing a better job of running their club than we are doing. And I think the majority of the live chat, I mean, this is not the Scottish government who think there's a magic money tree. Maybe they don't have money. I don't think they've got any money. I'm not saying it's a Scottish map. What I'm saying is that, Nicholas, that this club has been badly run for a very, very long time. Right, so let's take this for example, Nicholas, shall we? Number 1, stadium debacle. That's the board overseeing this, okay? That's it, okay? The board, post knowing about these developments, have taken no responsibility, have tried to shift all the blame onto James Bisgrove. Second point, after we won 55, right, we needed to build this team, to add to this team. We needed to build to what was it Stephen Gerrard said, fix the roof while the sun was shining. The board threw away the legacy of 55, and this club have not been successful. In the last 12 years, we've won 3 trophies. 3 trophies in 12 years that matter. 3 trophies that matter in the last 12 years, whilst they have collected trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. So, Nicholas, if you think this board are running this club well, you are very sadly mistaken, my friend. Very sadly mistaken. Absolutely. 100% sadly mistaken. Bennett has put his money in, but he's got it back with 7% interest on top. Scott says you cannot blame Bennett. I blame Park Senior, but it is, Scott, it is a situation where Bennett was the vice chair to Park. He had time. He was given time. Yes, he was given time. And I'm saying that Clement should be given time. But the board are doing a shit job of running this club. They can't get the stadium finished on time. After 55, when we won the league and were invincible, they threw that legacy all away. No, Nicholas, I don't want administration. But what I'm saying is, if you think the board run Rangers well, you are in a massive, massive minority within the fan base. You listen to the fan base, listen to what they're saying. The board don't talk to the fans. They don't listen to the fans. They can't finish a stadium on time. They threw away the legacy of 55. They signed up to the Australian debacle. They're pulling money out of the club right, left and centre. This board are an absolute bloody disgrace. And I'm sorry, if you think the board are being run well, I respect your opinion that you think they are being run well. But honestly, mate, they are not running this club well. They are fucking shocking. They couldn't run a bath, this club. Genuinely couldn't run a bath. As we sit here, they're already looking at 4 in a row, almost halfway to another 9. And you can see, you know, in this live chat, that the vast majority of people here do not want this board at all. King's back now. He got us 55. I'd have King back tomorrow. I would have King back as the chairman tomorrow. Who wanted Gio gone? The fans wanted Gio gone because of the performances. Was that right? Maybe, because, but why did Gio end up getting the sack? Because he wasn't backed by the board. Gio has come out and said as much. The board didn't back him. You know, at the end of the day, right? Gio wanted Crysencio Somerville. He wanted Ian Matson. He wanted those two in particular. Right? Let's just take those two for a start off. Ian Matson has moved, I think it's to Aston Villa for 37.5 million this summer. He's a Dutch international. Played for Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Quality player. Crysencio Somerville was the Championship Player of the Year last year. Is going to be moved for 45 million this summer. Now, the board would not back Gio and give Gio the players he wanted. So at the end of the day, Nicolas, the board screwed Gio over. The board screwed Gio. The board are screwing Clement. They screwed Gio. If they bought Gio the players that he wanted, Matson, Somerville, he would have won the league. He definitely would have won the league. They didn't back Gio because they couldn't run the bath. Absolutely. Gio was very hard done to, in my opinion. If he'd been look, Nicholas, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this. You know, if you want to found the John Bennett fan club, go and find the John Bennett fan club. I think you'll have a very lonely time running it, but, you know, please obviously go and do that. Nothing to do with the board. It was injuries. Bollocks. Utter bollocks. So you're telling me that if we'd signed Matson, Somerville, for example, we wouldn't have won the league that year. We wouldn't have walked the league that year. Absolute bollocks, Nicolas. Absolute fucking bollocks. Right. Okay, let's move it along. So, Thomas Guadalmes. Now, you all remember Guadalmes, the Chilean left-sided player, the Chilean left centre-side centre-back, could also play left-back. There was a huge link to him. It appeared that Rangers were very keen on signing Guadalmes. That seemed to be very much, you know, in Rangers' plans. However, this is a situation where we have again missed out on a target. I think largely because obviously there are no funds there to be the next manager. Nicholas, I wouldn't want to be the next manager because I haven't got the coaching experience. I think you're just being very petty now, if I'm being honest with you, Nicholas. I think you're being very, very petty. 100%. King is going backwards. We need to move forward. Fresh blood, fresh money. I think the club should be sold. That's my opinion. What do you think? Yeah, I think the club should be sold. If we can find someone to come in, then I definitely think that would be a good move. If Gerrard had not fecked up the UCL qualifier against Malmo, maybe we would have fixed the roof. Possibly. We're all the same here. Bad signings, bad business, bad mentality. It's all going to bit Pete Tong. Okay, I'm going to run a poll now. I've got 2 more topics to talk about tonight. I want to talk about Thomas Guadalmes and I want to talk about Johan Jordan. And I'm going to try and set up a poll in the live chat here if I can get my computer to play along with me. At the moment, it doesn't seem to play. Poll in the live chat. Okay. If it eventually decides it wants to run. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll about Sam Lammers. So the the final result on the Sam Lammers poll is going to flick up in a if you want to sell him. Okay, here's the poll. I'm poll up and running. Okay, so we're going to try and start a new poll now. So that result was 62% say sell, 32% say give him a chance, 5% say send him out on loan again. Okay, new poll going up in the live chat. So this is a new poll. Okay, so the new poll is up now. The new poll says in it, are the board doing a good job running our club? Yes or no? Your opinions, please. I'm going to stay quiet on this now. I'm not going to talk about it again. I don't want to talk about it now. I'm going to lay that down to you. Blue Nose says, I like the idea of Rangers men on the board, but maybe they can't take us any further. Alex Wallace says, good evening, all. Will Beside says, Nicholas is a Tim on the wind-up. Aldo says, Nicholas, transfer business is shocking and the same defenders too. That's an interesting one. Aldo, the sniper, says in the live chat, I believe there is funds there, but because last season they gave Ian Beale a blank checkbook and it stung the board in the arse, so I understand why they're hesitant to spend until we sell. Could well be the case. Please vote in the poll. Let me know your thoughts in the poll. Okay, we go. Comment here from, I like this one, from Hugster says, if it was an episode of Scooby-Doo, John Bennett would get unmasked to reveal Charles Green underneath. Maybe very much so. Okay, let's go back to this Gadalmez situation. So Gadalmez was a player that we were allegedly interested in. We seem to want to, to sign him. So Gadalmez is apparently now leaving Chile. He will be moving to Europe, which was what he wanted at the end of the day. He's going to Russia to sign for a team called Karelia Sovetov, who finished 9th in the Russian Premier League last season. He is signing a 3-year contract with the Russian team, Karelia Sovetov. So we've missed out on the signing of him. We've missed out on the signing of Gadalmez. So Gadalmez is off to Russia. No, Nicolas is not. Nicolas is not. Is a staunch Jers fan. Absolutely, 100%. They have a different opinion to me, or he or she has a different opinion to me. I'm not sure. Is it a girl? Nicolas? Are you actually Nicolas or a girl? I don't actually know. So yeah, you're entitled. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not saying that my opinion's right. I am just saying that is my opinion, and you are entitled to your opinion. And people who wind me up are the people who think that other people aren't entitled to their own opinions. People who will come on and call you all the names under the sun because you disagree with them. So, okay, it's a she. So she is entitled to her opinion, as anybody is entitled to their opinion. So, that's the way it is. At the end of the day, some of us will think the board are doing a good job and some of us still think the board are doing a bad job. At the moment in time, 97% of you say the board is doing a bad job. 3% of you say the board is doing a good job in the live chat. Scott's Viking says, for fuck's sake, Russian football is now better than Scottish football. So yeah, it's a sad one. Obviously we do need defenders. I think, everybody can tell that this defense needs a massive rebuild. If you didn't catch the podcast earlier when I went through the position groups, I talked about where was strong, where was not strong, where we need to strengthen, where we need to add in starters. Scott B, don't start with that one. Jesus Christ, there are not. Can I just make one thing clear? And I'm probably going to get cancelled for this. There are not 142 genders. I'm going to just say that straight up. There are not 142 genders. That is the biggest load of bollocks ever written. So problem is that our board are not billionaires. They are just wealthy Rangers men. Exactly. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Yeah, agreed. 100%. So we've missed out on Gadalmez, which is, a sad one. A real sad one there. And I think as I went through the position groups earlier, I think, as I said earlier, the goalkeeping group looks very strong. I think in Butland, Kelly, Munn, Bowdenakis, there are 3 very good players, 3 good players there. Left back group, we've got Hefte, Ridvan and Fraser. Again, very strong. Right back, we've got Dujon Sterling. That is it. There is no other decent right backs at the club. I think that we do need to go out and get another right back. Centre-backs wise, we've got 7 centre-backs on. I think it was 7 centre-backs. None of them are starting quality for me. Absolutely none of them are starting quality. Goldson isn't. Starting quality. Suter isn't. Davis isn't. Balogun isn't. King isn't. Yefeko isn't. And Ciala, as we've been told, isn't by Clemons. We've got to respect Clemons' opinion on this one. So that's where we're up to on that one. Okay. Interesting. Hart showing how bad Scottish football is. What's the current score? Yeah, you don't want to clip me. Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, the board have put some good stuff in recent couple of years, off the park, but in the wrong way round. The team must always be the priority. Agreed, Hugster. We might all fall out, but we love our club. Absolutely. We should start a GoFundMe. Every fan could throw in a score. Get a new centre back. Wish we could have got Harry Suter. Nick, yeah, absolutely. Sterling is a very good right back. I think Sterling should be our starting right back at the start of the season. I agree with that 100%. Who's my starting centre back? Smoke. We need to go and get 2 of them. We need to go and buy them. We really do. I don't know who they are at this moment in time. I haven't really looked into centre backs, but we do need to sign a new centre back, because at the end of the day, whilst we might get away in this league with Suter alongside a very good one, I don't think that we've got a starting quality centre back. Goldson is not a starting quality centre back anymore. Leon King, I think, is not a starting quality centre back. Balogun he's a squad player now at his age, so we do need. If we go into he is Smoke, but Clemon says he's not a starter yet. Clemon says he's not ready. Nicola would have Balogun as the first name on the team sheet. I mean, the worry for me going into next season is if our 4 centre backs are the same 4 centre backs as we ended last season with Goldson, Suter, Balogun and Davis, I think we've got major problems. I think the full-back positions are sorted. If you play Sterling at right back, Ridvan or Hefte at left back, the full-back positions are perfect, spot on. We just need a backup right back. But the centre-backs worry the hell out of me. If you've got Balogun and Suter as your backups to 2, I think that's brilliant. I think that's sorted. And Ciala as well to come in. I think that's brilliant. My worry is we don't have dominating, powerful centre-backs, and we've really missed out on having those, dominant centre-backs there. So I do think we badly need 2 centre-backs. I really do. This is Scott's team: Button, Sterling, Suter and Ciala, Hefte, Barron, Bailey, Rice, Diamande, Cortez, Danilo and Igman. Decent team. I agree we need a centre-back, but to get better, we would have cost upwards of 10 million. And Ciala, no. Nicola, I agree. We didn't worry about that. And it may be that Balogun can start this season. What I'm saying is we need 2. Look, this is more than one transfer window. Okay, this was what we kind of identified earlier when we went through that we kind of still need at the club. Okay, we need this: a right back, 2 centre backs, a CDM, a number 10, a winger, and a 9. Because we haven't got a number 9 at the club. We haven't got an out proper goal scoring 10. We need winger position looks awful. I mean, Scott Wright is useless. McCausland's not really a starter. Cortez is brilliant. I think Cortez will be great this season. And Matondo is an impact sub. So for me, we need a winger still. But that's what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. That's not one window's business. That's 2 windows business. That's 3 windows business. Okay, that's a number of windows. So if we only get 1 centre back and we have to cope with Balogun alongside that person, or Davis, or Suter, then fair enough. Then fair enough. But we do need to get a good, strong centre back. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about going out and getting someone for 10, 15 million, which you have to pay for a half decent one these days. Niels Koppen has shown that he is the king of scouting. He is the king of, going and finding players from around the world. And I think that's something we do need to do. We do need to go and find a centre back. Okay. A good centre back. Stuart says in the live chat here, is there no centre backs in the Scottish game we could buy that would make the step up? worth looking. I mean, the sad reality is that Clement and Coppen will need more than this window to change the squad the way we need it. They need patience from the fans, the type we have with Steve. I agree 100%, Aldo. And that's why I'm saying that 7 players is more than one side, one window's business. It's 2 or 3 windows. It's 2 or 3 windows. Well, we need to go through this. We need to get in January and next summer to find all these players. But I still am confident that if we can go and get at least one centre-back, one CDM, and a real, genuine goal scorer, we can win the league next season. I honestly feel that if we go out now and if we can raise some money through selling Tav, through selling Goldson, through selling Wright, through selling Lawrence, and we can bring in a 9, a centre-back, and a 6, we can win the league. We can win the league. Genuinely feel that. Alan Austin says David Affengruber is a free agent. Right side centre back, won the league and cup double with Sturm Graz last year on 10% of Goldson's pay, 23 years old. Well, let's hope Niels Coppen is looking at that one. Okay, get real. Cortez, Diamande, Hefte, Barron, Igman, and Ciala, Kelly. How many players is that? Add Rice, McKinnon, Lovelace, Lowry, Devine, and Fraser. Some decent players there, Smoke. We did, Gary, but Clement says he's not a starter. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm going on. The fact that Clement says he's not a starter. It's not 7 because I'm not including Diamande because he was signed in January. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? Why did we let Lewis Mayo go? Good shout. Gerrard left because he wasn't backed. He said that in an interview with Carragher. He said something along the lines of, to the Rangers board, the league is not important, just qualifying for Europe is important to them. That's what he actually said when he left the club. So, you know, like I said, Gadames is gone. I still think we need a centre-back. That's where we're up to. Now, the Joanne Jordan thing at this moment in time, apparently, there's still, that has had developments this evening where people are saying that Sevilla don't want to keep him. They want to sell him. That he's been told that he won't play another minute of football for Sevilla. Pimiento, who's their coach, has come out and not included him in their pre-season squad and said that he will not use him again. He will not play him at all. So it appears that what Victor Orta, who is the director of football there, the director of the technical director of Sevilla, is saying is they want to sell Jordan, which of course causes a problem because at this moment in time we don't have the money to purchase players. His wages could be an issue as well. He's on 58 grand a week. So that could be a bit of an issue as well. That's where we're up to, guys. You know, that is where we're at this moment in time. Mayo did play it. Mayo was great for Killy last year, wasn't he? He really was. I think he was a difficult one. It was a difficult one, wasn't it? It really was. 112 people watching. Please all smash that likes. At the moment, the vote is this: 88% of you say the board is not doing a good job. 12% of you say that the board is doing a good job for Rangers. That's where we're up to, guys. Okay. What happened to supporter forum? What, my supporter forum or the club supporter forum, CJ? There is one going to be coming up at the start of August. Once the season gets underway, once the season proper is going to get underway, we will have one fan forum per month at least. Okay. I really don't feel like Rangers are fully good since coming up the divisions. I really hope this is not a case where we are just the Borussia Dortmund in Scotland. That is the worry, isn't it? Jordan won't happen. Mayo went to Killy about 12 years too early. Good evening, troops. We should have kept Mayo. I think we should have done. Nicholas says here, we can't pick and choose who we want to sell. Players sign contracts for a reason. And the other thing as well is that, Nicola, we can't pick and choose who we sell because it's only who people want to buy. We might have a list and a priority list. Now, I get if I asked you guys to tell me in order, who do you want to sell first? Who do you want to sell second? Who do you want to sell third? I bet Scott Wright will be top of that list. Connor Goldson probably second. Dessers maybe third. Tav maybe fourth. Whatever. But the situation is that may not be the order we sell players in because people might not want Goldson. They may not want Wright, but they may want Tav and Dessers, or they may want Lawrence. So we can't decide, we can't decide realistically, who we want to get rid of. We can't just say he's going. It's not going to happen. What's happening about Damian Garcia? He signed a new deal at Penarol, mate. That's what's happened with him. Club one with the board and the sport members. Agreed. It needs to be one team, one family. We need to give youth a chance and stick with them. That's how we'll make money in the long run. Scott's Viking, exactly. I would love to see Cole McKinnon. I would love to see Bailey Rice, Jack Lovelace all get a option to play. Absolutely. We will never show any confidence in our youth. We have a youth system. If these players aren't getting bled into our first team, I do think that is a case. We do need to obviously bring in some young players and develop the young players. Sid says sell Cantwell. I think Cantwell could well be sold, mate, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think he's popular with the manager. I think the manager doesn't really fancy him, doesn't like his off the field situation, doesn't like the way he conducts himself off the field, doesn't like the way he behaves off the field. So I do think there's a chance he could go. Genuinely do. We've got so many legacy issues to solve whilst they're vacuuming trophies and money up. Agreed. This is the issue. Who wants these players? Who wants these players? That's the problem. We're always going to have. Right, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your comments tonight. Thank you for the lively live chat. Thank you for everything, as always. You know, look, as I always say to you, these lives will be nothing without you. Absolutely nothing without you. I'm trying to build this channel up to be as big as possible. You know that my ambition is to be like Mark Goldbridge eventually, but less of a knob than Mark Goldbridge. I do like Mark Goldbridge, though. I am a big fan of his. Guys, as always, please smash the sub. Help us to get to 6,000 subs by the Celtic game on the 1st of September. Would be phenomenal if we're celebrating 6K subs as we kick off the first Old Firm. Then ambitious target, guys. In 4 months, I want to add 4,000 more subs to get to 10K subs. If we hit 10K subs on New Year's Eve, I will have a prize giveaway. I'm going to go and look at what prizes we can afford with the channel budget. There will be a prize if we hit 10K subs by the 31st of the 12th this year. That prize will be selected at random. So I'll go through the membership list, which I can gain access to, and prizes will be given out to the winners. Guys, thank you very much for watching tonight. Please, obviously, on the way out, smash the like for me. As always, we all have our different opinions. We all have our own views, but it's about respecting each other as one Rangers family. And if we disagree with each other, we disagree with each other in a constructive way. We don't name call. We don't belittle each other. We don't do it that way, guys. We respect each other's opinions. Thanks for watching. On the way out, please smash the like. Please remember, we are the people.